"Good on you," one of the onlookers shouted. Another one called for 3 cheers. As the hurrahs rang out, the man grinned in delight and took off his cap to reveal a head full of startlingly black hair. He twirled the cap in the air before holding up his other hand for silence. The cheers died away. "This is a great day," he announced in his booming, treacly voice. "A great day for me, but above all for New York. It's the first good thing that New Yorkers have seen happen in a long while. The city has lost confidence in itself. People are departing. I say, enough. New York still has something to say. The fact that I have chosen New York is a vote of tremendous confidence in this city." Then, holding both arms above his head now, his fists clenched in triumph, he went even further. "It is a miracle," he said. "A miracle on 42nd Street." At this point he was approached by 2 policemen, who asked if he would mind moving on. The problem, they explained with uncharacteristic deference, was that so many people had come to see him they were spilling out into the road. As a result, lengthy tailbacks were stretching in both directions. "Of course," said the man, the last thing he wanted was to cause any inconvenience. Rather than get back into his limousine, he strode away up 42nd Street, his camel hair coat trailing out behind. Far from dispersing, the crowd and the TV crews set off in pursuit, loath to let him out of their sight. The man's name was Robert Maxwell, and this was the day that all his dreams had finally come true. As he often liked to say later, Maxwell had come to New York in answer to a plea. A saviour was needed in the city's hour of need, and Bob the Max, as he'd taken to styling himself, was not about to shirk his duty. This was not strictly true, indeed it wasn't really true at all, but amid the excitement, no one was in any mood to get too hung up on detail. 18 months earlier, in the autumn of 1989, journalists on newspapers in Orlando, Newport, Rhode Island and Fort Lauderdale were surprised to receive letters asking if they would like to come and work in New York for a while. Anyone who expressed interest was then sent, in strict confidence, a list of instructions on what not to do if they decided to take up the offer. Don't stop to talk to anyone who approaches you. Don't frequent restaurants in close proximity to the office. Don't make eye contact with passers-by. At the same time, Jim Hogue, publisher of the New York Daily News, launched the first salvo in what he strongly suspected would be a fight to the death. The New York Daily News was the oldest and most iconic tabloid newspaper in America. In its heyday, it had sold 2.4 million copies a day, more than a quarter of the city's population. Brash, blue-collar, and fiercely proud of the breadth and depth of its prejudices, the paper liked to style itself the honest voice of New York, a claim rather belied by the fact that it also ran a regular gangland column, a kind of low-life social diary chronicling the ups and downs of the city's best-known organized crime figures, such as Vincent Chin Gigante and Anthony Gaspipe Casso. But the News's heyday had long gone. For years it had been hobbled by astounding levels of overmanning, widespread fraud, an exorbitant wage bill, and machinery so antiquated that printers were reputed to have to blow black ink out of their nostrils for several hours after their shifts had ended. By 1989, it was losing $2 million a month. In a bid to break the union's power, Hogue decided to take them on. He planned his campaign with meticulous precision. If they went on strike, as he was convinced they would, he intended to keep the News running with non-union labour, hence his appeal to out-of-town journalists to come to New York. In a former Sears warehouse in New Jersey, he even built a full-scale replica of the paper's newsroom so that people could be properly trained beforehand. The warehouse was surrounded by a chain-link fence topped with barbed wire and patrolled round the clock by security guards with German shepherd dogs. The choice